Now turn to indirect taxes and shall begin with custom duties. Manufacturing sector is under a stress due to the variety of reasons. To boost the domestic manufacturing sector and also to address the issue of inverted duties, I propose to reduce the basic customs duty on fatty acid crude palm styrene RBD and other palm stearins specified industrial grade crude oils from 7.5% to nil for manufacture of soaps and oleochemicals. Crude glycerine from 12.5% to 7.5% and crude glycerine used in manufacture of soaps from 12.5% to nil. Steel grade limestone and steel grade dolomite from 5% to 2.5%. Battery waste and battery scrap from 10% to 5%. Coal tar pitch from 10% to 5%. Specified inputs for manufacture of spandex yarn from 5% to nil. In order to encourage new investment and capacity additions in chemicals and petrochemical sectors, I propose to reduce basic custom duty on reformate from 10% to 2.5%, on ethane, propane, ethylene, propylene, butadiene and orthoxylene from 5% to 2.5%, on methyl alcohol and denatured ethyl alcohol from 7.5% to 5%, and on crude naphthalene from 10% to 5%. The demand of the electronics is growing very fast. To boost domestic production and reduce our dependence on imports, I intend to take the following steps. Impose basic custom duty of 10% on specified telecommunication products that are outside the purview of the Information Technology Agreement. Exempt all inputs, components used in the manufacture of personal computers from 4% special additional duty. Impose educational cess on imported electronic products to provide parity between domestically produced goods and imported goods. Exempt 4% SAD on PVC and ribbon used for manufacture of smart cards. Cathode rays TVs are used by the weaker sections who cannot afford to buy more expensive flat panel TVs. I propose to exempt color picture tubes from basic custom duty to make cathode rays TVs cheaper. The duty concession will help to revive the manufacturing of the TVs in the SME sector and create employment opportunity. At the same time, to encourage production of LCDs, LEDs and TVs below 19 inches in India, I propose to reduce the basic custom duty on LCD, LED panels below 19 inches and 10% to nil. Further, to encourage manufacture of LCDs, LED panels, I propose to exempt them from basic custom duty specified inputs in their manufacture. The domestic stainless steel industry is presently suffering from severe underutilization of capacity. To give an impetus to stainless steel industry, I propose to increase the basic customs duty on imported flat rolled products of stainless steel from 5% to 7.5%. We need to maximize our utilization of solar power. The existing duty structure incentivizes imports rather than domestic manufacturing on solar photovoltaic cells and modules. Therefore, I propose to exempt from basic custom duty specified inputs to use in the manufacture of EVA sheets and black sheets, flat copper wires and manufacture of PV ribbons. A concessional basic custom duty of 5% is also being extended to machinery equipment required for setting up of project for solar energy production. To promote wind energy, I propose to reduce basic custom duty from 10% to 5% on forged steel rings used in manufacturing bearings of wind-operated electricity generators. Also, I propose to exempt the SAD of 4% on parts of raw materials required for manufacture of wind-operated generators. Further, I propose to prescribe a concessional basic custom duty of 5% on machinery and equipment required for setting up of compressed biogas plants. I have only highlighted some of the proposals in Budget 2014-15. I am sure these measures would incentivize value, generic income and create more jobs. I have also undertaken several tax rationalization measures. At present, coal attracts a custom duty at different rates. I propose to rationalize these duty structures on all non-agglomerated coal at 2.5% of basic custom duty and 2% CVD. Henceforth, anthracite coal, bituminous coal, coking coal, steam coal and other coal will attract the same duty. This will eliminate all assessment disputes and transactional costs associated with testing of various parameters of coal. Metallurgical coke is manufactured out of coking coal. The basic custom duty on metallurgical coke is being increased from nil to 2.5% in line with the duty of coking coal. Ships imported for breaking up attract basic custom duty at 5%. As against this, melting scrap of iron or steel attracts a basic custom duty of 2.5%. I propose to rationalize the duty on ship breaking scrap and melting scrap of iron and steel by reducing duty on ship imported for breaking up from 5% to 2.5%. Semi-processed, half-cut or broken diamonds are at present exempted from basic custom duty. As against this, cut and polished diamonds and colored gemstones attract basic custom duty of 2%. To prevent misuse and avoid assessment disputes, the basic custom duty on semi-processed, half-cut, broken diamonds, cut and polished diamonds and colored gemstones is being rationalized at 2.5%. To encourage exports, pre-forms of precious or semi-precious stones are being fully exempted from basic custom duty. To encourage exports of ready-made garments, I propose to increase the base duty-free entitlement of import of trimmings, embellishments and other items from 3% to 5% of their value of their exports. Considering the need to conserve our national resources, I propose to increase the export duty on bauxite from 10% to 20%. The free baggage allowance under baggage rules, which was last revised in 2012, as a measure of passenger facilitation, I propose to increase the baggage fare from rupees 35,000 to rupees 45,000. I shall now deal with the excise duties. To provide the fillip to capital goods, consumable durables and automatic sectors and give our commitment to revive economic growth, I have already extended the excise duty concessions beyond 30th June 2014 for a period of 6 months up to 31st December 2014. We expect the industry to show positive results in the coming months. In continuation of this, I have made more proposals to boost domestic production. Minimization of harvest and poor harvest losses of agricultural produces is an important measure for tackling food inflation and ensuring food security. The losses of fruits, vegetables are mainly due to adequate processing capacity. To incentivize expansion of processing capacity, I propose to reduce the excise duty on specified food processing and packaging machinery from 10% to 6%. As a measure of relief to the footwear industry, most of which are SMEs, I propose to reduce excise duties from 12% to 6% on footwear of retail piece exceeding 500 pairs, but not exceeding rupees 500 per pair, but not exceeding rupees 1,000 per pair. Footwear of retail price up to rupees 500 per pair will continue to remain exempted. I propose to withdraw the concessional excise duty, 2% without Senvet benefit and 6% with Senvet benefit on smart cards, which with a levy of uniform excise duty at 12%. Consequently, import will attract a higher CVD and will help domestic industry. To develop renewable sources of energy, I propose to exempt from excise duty EVA sheets and solar black sheets with specified inputs used in manufacture, solar tempered glass sheets in manufacture of solar photovoltaic cells and durables, flat copper wires for manufacture of PV ribbons for use in solar cells and modules, machinery and equipment required for setting up of a project of solar energy production, forged rings used in the manufacture of bearings for wind-operated generators, machinery and equipment required for setting up of compressed biogas plants. To set at rest ongoing disputes, I propose to exempt PSF and PFI manufactured from plastic waste and scrap, including PET bottles, from excise duty with effect from 29th June 2010 to 7th May 2012. I propose to levy prospectively a nominal duty of 5% without SENVAT to benefit 6% with SENVAT benefit on such PSY and PFI. To encourage sports, I propose to prescribe a concessional excise duty of 2% without SENVAT benefit and 6% with SENVAT benefit on sports clubs. While undertaking these measures, I need to mobilize some resources. Although I propose to increase the specific excise duties on cigarettes in a range of 11% to 72%. Similarly, increases are proposed on cigars, cheroots and cigarillos. Likewise, excise duty is being increased from 12% to 16% on pan masala and 50% to 55% on unmanufactured tobacco, and from 60% to 70% on gutka and chewing tobacco. I also propose to levy an additional duty of excise of 5% on aerated waters containing added sugar. These are healthy measures, and I hope everyone would welcome them from the point of view of human health. Clean Clean energy cess is presently levied on coal, peat and lignite for the purposes of financing and promoting clean energy initiatives and funding research in area of clean energy. I propose to expand the scope of purposes of levying the said cess, including financing and promoting clean environment initiatives for funding research in the area of clean environment. To finance these additional initiatives, I propose to increase the clean energy cess from rupees 50 per ton to rupees 100 per ton. I shall now deal with service tax. In recent times, amongst indirect taxes, service tax has shown the highest rate of growth. Since my overall objective is to prepare that indirect tax regime for a smooth transition to goods and services, changes have been kept minimal at this stage. The twin object of this sector of indirect taxes are to widen the tax base and enhance compliance. My proposal in relation to service tax are in line with these objectives. To broaden the tax base in services tax, it is necessary to prune the negative list and in exemptions to the extent possible. Accordingly, the negative list has been reviewed, and service tax leviable currently on sale and space of time for advertisements in the broadcast media is being extended to cover such sales on other segments like online and mobile advertising. Sale of space for advertisements on print media would remain excluded from service tax. Similarly, tax is proposed on service provided by radio taxis to place them at par with rent-a-cab service. These new levies will come into effect from the date notified after the passing of the finance bill. In furtherance of the effort to broaden the tax base, certain exemptions are being withdrawn, including those extended to services by air-conditioned contract carriages, technical testing of newly developed drugs on human participants. To spur growth in certain sectors, I have tried to correct the bottlenecks which have been brought to my notice. Indian ship industry has been representing that they are losing business in the tough global scenario due to provision in the place of provision of services rules, which are now being addressed through an amendment. Similarly, to encourage growth in the transportation of goods through coastal vessels, and tax incident is being reduced. In response to the request of the tourism sector, services provided by the Indian tour operators to foreign tourists in relation to tour wholly outside India is being taken out of the tax net. A long-standing demand of this sector has been to allow Senvet credit for services of rent-a-cab and tour operators. I now propose to allow credit in the same line of business. I had accepted a few requests for exemptions from social sector, since exemptions reduce distortions would be comparatively less in such sectors. At the request of Ministry of Agriculture, service tax on loading, unloading, storage, warehousing, transportation of cotton, whether gind or bale, is being exempted to bring it on par with certain other agricultural products. Services provided under the Employee State Insurance Corporation for the period from 1st July 2012 is being exempted. For the benefit of the common man, the exemptions presently available for specified micro insurance schemes are being expanded to cover all life micro insurance schemes where sums assured do not exceed more than 50,000 per life insured. Since taxes should not come in the way of safe disposal of medical and clinical waste, services provided by common biomedical waste treatment facilities are being exempted. Certain changes are also proposed for bringing about a greater clarity for reducing litigation regarding the scope of exemption. These include functions ordinarily entrusted to a municipality and services in relation to education. There are few more decisions which entail small gains and loss of revenue. Certain amendments are being proposed to the Customs Central Excise Acts and in the Finance Act 1994 relating to service tax. These changes are reflected in the budget documents. My tax proposals from indirect taxes size are estimated to yield rupees 7,525 crores additionally. I have some more proposals which are in the nature of facilitating trade and resolving dispute. I shall only highlight a few. Faster clearance of import and export cargo reduces transaction costs and improves business competitiveness. To achieve this object, measures are being initiated to extend the existing 24/7 custom facility to 13 more airports in respect of all export goods and to 14 more seaports in respect of specified import and export. It is also proposed to implement the Indian Customs Single Window project to facilitate trade. Under this, importers and exporters would lodge their clearances documents at a simple point only. Required permissions, if any, from other regulatory agencies would be obtained online without the trader having to approach these agencies. This would introduce interface with governmental agencies, dwell time and cost of doing business. The scheme of advance ruling in indirect tax is being expanded to cover resident private companies. This will allow companies to seek advance rulings in respect of new activities being proposed to be undertaken. The scope of the Settlement Commission is being enlarged to facilitate quick dispute proposal. To expedite these processes and dispose of appeals, amendments have been proposed to the Customs Central Excise Act, and with a view of freeing appellate authorities from hearing stay applications and take up regular appeals for final disposal.